When I say winner of Alliance, how does it feel?
It feels absolutely amazing, Nawaz. It's been like a dream ever since I've come out of the house with the trophy. And day one, I didn't feel that this would even be a possibility because I was just, struggling with, will I be able to stay in captivity for that long? And I'm not a reality show type, stereotype. So for me, it was just a question of survival in the first week. But as the weeks rolled along, I started enjoying the game and I started focusing on the things that excited me about Alliance. And I think that just stood me well.
Amazing. Personally in the house, I loved your game. On a personal level, I really wanted, firstly a woman to win, and secondly, if it had to be that, I wanted you to win. So I'm very happy that you won this show. What I want to also understand is, so when you came in the game, it was with Nikhil Chinnappa.
Yeah.
A lot of people, behind your backs said that Nikhil is the brain of that alliance.
Okay.
What do you have to say about it? Because, you very gracefully dodged that, even on the show. But I'd really like to know that, when people just underestimate you like that, how does it?
I'm glad that I have proved them by walking out after 6 weeks with the trophy. So I think if they think that he was, the only thing that was driving me, then I don't know how I survived the finale weeks without him. But the reason I've dodged it is because it's quite a silly assumption. We are two alliances. We are an alliance. We are friends for 25 years. We had each other's back. We play the game for 24 hours. You see 50 minutes of that. So obviously what makes it to the edit may be some statements where it looks like he's giving me the moves, whereas there were so many instances where I gave him the moves and he's a living, proof of that fact. And I don't see the need to dignify or pull somebody else down or say, no, Nikhil was not the brain. Of course. I mean, we are friends. We are going to help each other out. So there were a lot of places where I helped him out, and there were so many places that he gave me some direction, and I wouldn't like to dignify such comments with anything. Absolutely. The fact that he left in week 4 and then I played a game on my own and I not just survived, but I won is proof of the pie.
Another problem on the show that I saw was the youngsters always kept, talking badly about the people who are more experienced in the game.
Yes.
Even for that, and that comment also came from there actually, So, how was this experience of being in such close proximity with the Gen Zs in a game zone?
So I'm a mother of a Gen Z.
Yes.
But I have to say that one of the things that was bothering me was, okay, I am a woman in her 50s, okay? There are 23-year-olds and there are gamers and there are live streamers and there are people who entirely exist on social media, whereas social media is just one small extension of real work on the ground that I've done all my life. So there was a big disparity between the kind of worlds that we've come from. And my entire, question was, how will I survive with these people? But you will be amazed at how much your brain and your neuroplasticity comes in when you don't have your phone. Because you get interested in conversations, in people. I have learned so much from people like Vanshaj and Payal and, Dolly and what they are doing. And I spent my time saying, bhai, batao tum karte kya ho? To ye streaming hoti kya hai? And now I have plans of doing live streaming with them and stuff like that. So I enjoy the process of learning. And yes, there was a certain amount of ageism that came in the beginning where they were like, oh, this is the stereotypical 50+ person. This is the stereotypical ladaku person. This is the the sexy one. And this only lasts for a week. The real conversation is in the arena when I defeat you on the games that you play. So I think all that chatter stops.
And every task, oh my God, especially, the last one where you all had to answer those questions. Oh my God, that's the last one that we've seen.
But I'll tell you something. It is, see, I'm an MBA and I'm a, I'm a postgraduate. So I just feel that it was expected that inko quiz questions to aayenge, inko riddles, puzzles to aayenge, I was very sure that I wanted to play the physical game with the big bronze and the young kids and the fitness enthusiasts. I was like, aapko aap hi ke turf pe harate hain, chalo. Wow. And that for me was the big win, that the semi-final week and the final week was only about physical tasks, and I wanted to just beat them at their own game. And I enjoyed it. This was not so much a competition with them. It was a competition with me. Do I still have it? as a woman in her 50s. And yeah,
Well,
I
here's
do.
the proof.
Here's the proof. I do. And I think we underestimate, people who
Absolutely.
who are beyond, a certain age and gender.
And I'm so glad that, this also happened, because there was a considerable time on the show that we also saw, the boys club kind of being very dominant, and, they would make the alliance first and then they would come on to the girls and all of that. And I hated that, honestly. And I really loved how you stood your ground always. In a situation like that, when, everybody is kind of, trying to put the women down, being a feminist also, how would you tackle with situation like that? Because that is also, I'm assuming, a very stressful space.
It was the worst part of the week for me when we had to make these new alliances. And I would always see that the moment it would be like, okay, make your new alliances. And all the boys would get up and go into little holes. And they would say, so you and I are playing together. And let's take this. No, she's not strong. This one. And I would just hate it. So never in the show would you have seen me ever walking up to anyone to say, hey, I want to play this game with you. I was absolutely sure what I brought to the table. And I was like, whoever wants to play with me, come to me. I have not left my team from day one to D42. I was a legend on day one. I was a legend on day 42. Never left my bed, except for when I became ace for that 1 week. And I enjoyed every team that came and went from Legends.
Right.
Whether it was Arsalan, Neeti and Zaid, and me, or Nikhil and me, and Agu and Zaid. We had Vanchaj, Neeti and I made it work. So it's not a question of physical strength. And yes, it rankled me that the boys got to pick the girls. So I wanted to be the girl that picked the boys, and I did.
Absolutely. Sohail Khan, being a part of the show, what energy did that bring? Because a lot of people thought he was a weak link, and the way then nobody was ready to take him in the alliance also. How do you look at his participation? Salman coming in, did that change his energy also in the game?
Yes, so the show was actually about two things. One was the games and the challenges in the arena, and one was the alliances and the politics that happened in the headquarters itself. So unfortunately, Sohail Bhai was, feeling under the weather most of the time that he was there. So he became a bit of a, thing in the arena if he was in your team. So people would be like, "Arey, but he may not be well enough to play." But in the home, in the headquarters, he was lovely. His energies would be calm, and because of him, there would be so many people who would not say the things that they wanted to say in front of, to each other, because he was there. He would have a chat with the girls. He was soft-spoken, and he's Sohail Khan. We know what he's made of. We know that in his element, he will rip each one of you apart. So let him, he was just a good, sort of energy around the house. And yes, Salman Bhai coming was amazing for him, because he suddenly felt reinforced and, to last till the finale. Otherwise, he wanted to